Good morning, Notre Dame. Today is Friday, November 8th. My name is Lilly Ashworth.
And I'm Jacob Irons. We begin our show with some breaking news into the newsroom this morning as the university is expecting for protests on the campus after Ron DeSantis, the 46th governor of Florida, will give talks this afternoon.
Yes, he was brought by the Center for Citizenship here at Notre Dame, expected to speak at 4 p.m. in DeBartolo Hall. It is a private event.
Yeah, it should be a private event, and it comes at a time when the ramifications on the election are happening across the campus. We have all that and more on this episode of ND Sunrise.
Welcome back.
Around 5:30 Wednesday morning, it was officially called that Donald Trump would be the 47th president of the United States. The decision was clear after Trump took Pennsylvania, the most prominent battleground state in this election. Just this Tuesday morning, our political strategist here at NDTV, Elena Morgan, outlined the most likely path to 270 for each candidate. The blue wall, as Elena discussed, ended up turning red with Trump clinching this election much earlier than expected. He currently sits at 295 electoral college votes.
And just 11 hours after the race was called, Kamala Harris gave her concession speech at her alma mater, Howard University. On Wednesday afternoon, she emphasized a peaceful transfer of power and cited her slogan, "When we fight, we win," saying that sometimes the fight takes a while. Her speech came after calling President-elect Donald Trump and officially conceding the election.
In a similar fashion, the United States Senate reached a Republican majority after flipping seats in West Virginia, Montana, and Ohio on Tuesday night. This gives senators party control over legislation and who Trump is able to nominate for his cabinet. The House of Representatives is still up for grabs by either party, none having reached the 218 threshold to achieve a full majority. Current President Biden achieved a unified government for the first 2 years of his presidency, which has since been divided. We'll soon see whether Trump will experience a similar shift.
As for ballot measures, 10 states included a protection or expansion on abortion access on their ballots, 7 states having approved this measure, with South Dakota, Nebraska, and Florida failing to reach the required majority of votes. Florida specifically raised their threshold for approving ballot measures in 2006 to 60%, making the 57% of yes votes not enough to pass the measure, like it was in states such as Ohio. Florida, South Dakota, as well as Ohio and North Dakota did not pass measures to legalize marijuana. Measures on elections, voting, and immigration had mixed results among states that included them. Finally, California passed a measure that secures the right to marriage in their state constitution.
Yeah, a lot going on at the national level, and a lot of it has to do with some ND grads as well.
Yes, there were 6 graduates up for election this year. We looked at those this past Tuesday with your segment. Let's take a look.
Well, it may be easy in a presidential election year to overlook the multitude of congressional races occurring nationwide. 6 Notre Dame alums are looking to retain their seats in Congress and make an impact on their constituents. South Bend's own representative is one of the 6. Rudy Yakum received his MBA from Notre Dame in 2019 after graduating from Indiana University, South Bend. A South Bend native, Republican Yakum is running for re-election in Indiana's 2nd District. Yakum was first elected in November 2022 after U.S. Representative Jackie Walorski died in a car crash in Elkhart County in August 2022. His campaign goals include ensuring veterans receive benefits they have earned, providing a strong national defense, and defending Second Amendment rights. He's running against Democratic newcomer Lori Camp. Staying in the Midwest, Congressman Warren Davidson is seeking re-election in Ohio's 8th Congressional District. He's a Republican who has represented the district since 2016. Davidson earned an MBA from Notre Dame in 2005 after graduating from the United States Military Academy at West Point and serving in the Army. He's running against Democrat Vanessa Enoch on his platform, which focuses on immigration control, religious liberty, and upholding Second Amendment rights. Congressman Mike Flood is running for re-election in Nebraska's 1st Congressional District, a race he won in June 2022 in a special election. A 1997 Notre Dame graduate, Republican Mike Flood, is taking on longtime Democratic Senator Carol Blood in this year's election. His campaign goals center around increased border control, tackling Nebraska's nursing shortages, and lowering the cost of living. Heading south, where former Notre Dame football player under Coach Lou Holtz and 1990 graduate Pat Fallon is seeking re-election in Texas's 4th Congressional District. The Republican congressman in July was named to the bipartisan task force to investigate the assassination attempt on former President Donald Trump. Fallon's platform focuses on securing Second Amendment rights, supporting anti-abortion laws, and tackling border security. He'll be running against Democratic challenger Simon Cardell. And finally, focus on 2 Notre Dame alumni who are up for election on the East Coast in Pennsylvania. Congressman Brendan Boyle, who graduated from Notre Dame in 1999 and received a master's from Harvard University. He's a Democrat who has served in Pennsylvania's 2nd Congressional District since 2019. Boyle is up against Republican Aaron Bashir, who Boyle beat by over 50 points in 2022. His goals include supporting public school funding and equitable budget expansions. On the other side of the state, Congressman Mike Kelly is seeking re-election for the 8th time in the 16th Congressional District of Pennsylvania. Kelly is a former Notre Dame football player and a 1970 Notre Dame graduate. He is a Republican and serves as a member of the House Ways and Means Committee and is the chairman of the bipartisan task force that is investigating the July assassination attempt of former President Donald Trump, which occurred in Kelly's hometown of Butler, Pennsylvania. First elected in 2010, Kelly is a loyal ally of former President Trump and seeks to tackle border control, support national anti-abortion laws, and focus on fighting the rising prices of gases and energy due to inflation.
Can see the 6 men that are right beside me, all of them winning their elections handedly. Brendan Boyle, the only Democrat, won 71% of his vote out of the 30% his Republican counterpart got. Every Irish alumni came out and dominated their election and were called early winners in the evening, Lilly.
Yes, that's true. And with all these election results coming out, it can be quite overwhelming. It is very important to remember that there's more to just the presidency. Yep. There's more to just these Senate seats. There's a long history down the line of why these elections are so important. We actually looked at that this past Tuesday during our Election Day Under the Dome coverage with Ryan Murphy, our political correspondent here at NDTV, looking at Notre Dame's unique history with the presidency. Let's take a look at that.
Notre Dame's relationship with the American presidency seems to be as old as the university itself. Notre Dame's founder, Father Edward Sorin, was a French immigrant, but an ardent American patriot. Sorin named one of the university's most prominent early buildings after George Washington, attempting to chart a path towards an American university. Notre Dame's relationship with the presidency itself would begin truly in 1935, when President Franklin Delano Roosevelt visited and became the first of 9 presidents to receive an honorary degree from Notre Dame. In 1960, President Dwight Eisenhower became the first sitting president to deliver the commencement address, beginning a tradition of sorts. 5 additional sitting presidents have delivered the commencement address over the years, and the 6th total visits is tied for the most of any non-military academy. President Jimmy Carter was the second, giving the key foreign policy address of his presidency here in 1977. Reagan followed in 1981, and both George H.W. and George W. Bush and Barack Obama would later give commencement addresses. Reagan especially has held a soft spot in Notre Dame hearts for his role as George Gipp in the movie Knute Rockne, All-American.
Rock, someday when the team's up against it, breaks are beating the boys, ask them to go in there with all they've got. Win just one for the Kipper. I don't know where I'll be then, but I'll know about it. I'll be happy.
The Gipper returned to Notre Dame in 1988 to unveil a stamp dedicated to the legendary Irish football coach, and during his speech threw a pass into the crowd that was caught by the eventual Heisman Trophy winner, Tim Brown. It was a good omen of things to come. Notre Dame would go on to meet Reagan again in the White House Rose Garden as national champions. Neither of our two nations' Catholic presidents, John F. Kennedy and Joe Biden, delivered addresses at Notre Dame during their presidency. Both gave commencement speeches before becoming president, though. As a senator, Kennedy visited for the 1950 winter commencement exercises, and as vice president, Biden spoke in 2016. Both received the Laetare Medal, conferred by the university for outstanding service to the church and American society. The close ties have even spilled over into popular culture. In the fictional TV drama West Wing, President Jed Bartlett is a proud Notre Dame alumnus.
Mr. President.
How you doing?
I just got off with Bruno and Hess.
I'm sorry?
I said I just got off with Bruno and Hess.
You didn't say Michigan sucks?
No, sir.
I thought you said Michigan sucks.
No, sir.
Despite the close relationship, presidential visits have rarely been without controversy. Most recently, Notre Dame's invitation to President Barack Obama in 2009 was accompanied by pro-life protests. On the whole, though, the Notre Dame community has seemed to mostly relish its ties with the nation's highest office over the years. This can be seen through a lively tradition of campus polls and mock elections, which Notre Dame students have participated in since the 1930s. Election seasons come and go, but Notre Dame's ongoing relationship with the presidency continues to prove that motto etched in stone rings true, from the ballot box to the Oval Office. God, country, Notre Dame. Reporting for NDTV in South Bend, Ryan Murphy.
Hey, thanks so much, Murph. Do you like that political coverage? Well, you can find plenty more of it under the Politics tab under our YouTube page, just like our ND Sunrise Special Edition Election Day Under the Dome, which can be found there as well, which that segment was a part of.
Yes, now let's get into some of the exciting events we have coming up this weekend.
We have some great events on campus today and tomorrow at 3:30. Today in the Jordan Auditorium in Mendoza, editor-in-chief of the Wall Street Journal, Gary Baker, will be giving talk on the aftermath of this election. The event is free and open to the public as part of the Notre Dame's Thomas H. Quinn Lecture Series.
And if you're looking for something to do after that lecture, make sure to stop by Farley Fall Fest from 3 to 5:30. Arguably one of the best dorms on campus. My home of Farley Hall is hosting their signature event. There will be live performances from Farley residents, food and merchandise for sale, gourd bowling, and even a dunk tank, which I've heard is very promising. Even student body president Dawson Kaiser will be there. Tickets are $5 and support Our Lady of the Road.
Bigger question is whether Lilly will be performing in those student performances. This weekend, the Fighting Irish face off against Florida State University in the one and only night game of the year right here in South Bend. Stick around at 3:30 to see what Shamrock Sports will have to say about this matchup, as well as the releasing of the college football playoffs.
After the game on Saturday, North and South dining halls will be open from 11 p.m. to 1 in the morning, serving a special midnight breakfast bar. This feast is free for students with a meal plan, but does cost money for any guests you want to bring along.
Exciting there. No, I'm going to go get my pancake helpings. Sunday begins Veterans Day, 24-hour vigil outside Stonehenge Memorial in in Fieldhouse Mall. Members of the ROTC community will stand at the Fortune until the end of Veterans Day on Monday. The Tri-Military Veterans Day ceremony will take place from 4 to 5 p.m. Monday evening.
And that is all we have for you today. Thank you so much for sticking around with us this morning.
It's been a lot of fun to be here, and for all of your political coverage as well as student news right here on campus, always lock in to ND Sunrise.